Hi, Mike Leeds here with Huxley Communications, and thanks for joining us. Today we're going to cover an important topic called phishing. And unfortunately, we're not talking about the popular outdoor recreational activity enjoyed by millions. We're talking about phishing, as defined by Wikipedia, is the act of attempting to acquire personal information such as usernames, passwords, credit card or banking information, or sometimes, often indirectly, money, by masquerading as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication. Well, what does that really mean? Basically, it can be defined as any time a criminal tries to obtain your personal information over the internet. One of the most common ways we see phishing carried out is through the process called email spoofing, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So what is email spoofing? Well, a lot like it sounds. Email spoofing is when a criminal will send you a fake email trying to bait you to provide them your personal information. Oftentimes a criminal will send within that spoofed email a link to a fake website that will look and feel like a legitimate site. When you click on that link, it'll ask you for a username or password, or worst case scenario, credit or banking information. So today we're going to cover topics related to email spoofing, like what does a spoofed email look like? What should you do if you get one of these spoofed emails? And lastly, unfortunately, if you happen to click on one of these spoofed emails and provided a criminal with your personal information, what to do then? Don't feel bad. It happens more often than you think, and that's why we're covering the topic today. But I do want to point out that Huxley Communications will never ask for this personal information unsolicited over the internet. We already have it. We're not going to ask for it again. Anyway, let's get started. So what exactly is email spoofing? I think the best way to answer that question is to examine an email that's actually been spoofed. Let's take a look. So here's an actual example of a spoofed email that one of our customers recently received. And at first glance, it's quite deceiving. Notice our logos there. It uses other familiar verbiage like huxcom.net and huxcom team. But the legitimacy stops there. These are common tactics that phishing emails use to convince you to disclose your personal information. And don't fall for these tricks. So let's take a closer look at this email. Look at the from header, copyright 2014 huxcom team. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also things like status, active serial number. Again, doesn't make a lot of sense why it's there. But the most obvious thing is look at the subject line. Update your Huxcom account information. We cannot stress enough that Huxley Communications will never ask you to update your account information when it's unsolicited. We already have that information. That's always a dead giveaway that this is a phishing attempt. So please do not fall for these tricks. So what should you do if you receive one of these spoofed emails? The answer is quite simple, actually. Ignore it, or better yet, delete it. But you can certainly forward it on to us and we'll take a second look. What you don't want to do is click on that fake link and supply them with the information they're looking for. Never supply your information unsolicited via email or through the internet. So what happens if you do reply to one of these phishing emails? Then what? Well, the answer depends on your particular situation and what personal information may have been compromised. Was it your email username and password, your bank account information, credit card numbers, or worse, your social security number? All these types of personal information, when in the wrong hands, can lead to negative situations. Since Huxley Communications is an internet service provider, and we provide email service, we're going to focus on what happens if you give out your username and password for your email address. If you inadvertently responded to one of these phishing emails and provided your username or password to a third party, the first thing we ask you to do is call Huxley Communications. We will change your password immediately. In most phishing attempts with Huxley Communications customers, the perpetrators are trying to obtain your username and password in order to gain access to your email account to send out spam. Although this activity causes a great deal of headaches for Huxley Communications and its email users, it is important to note that this is rarely considered serious. In most cases, the activity ceases once the password has been changed. Well, we spent the majority of this session discussing how to identify an email that's been spoofed, and what to do if you click on an email and inadvertently provide your information to someone you wish you wouldn't have. We occasionally get asked the question, well, what can I do to protect my personal email address? Well, unfortunately, once your email address is out in the public domain, there's little control you have over it. But there are several things you can do to protect your personal information, including your email address to begin with. We'll cover a few of those today. So we all use the internet for a variety of daily tasks, including keeping in touch with friends and family, online shopping, and as a resource for news and information. So please don't let this lesson be a discouragement from using the internet for the powerful tool it is, but hopefully it can provide some insight on how to keep your email address better protected. So for demonstration purposes only, I arbitrarily picked a third-party online retail site, Target.com. I liked their homepage. It was quite flashy with a lot of cool pictures. But specifically, I wanted to find a place on the site where I could provide my personal information. It did not take me long to find. So I went up to my account. I do not currently have an account with Target.com, so I clicked on Create an account. And by providing them with some personal information, I can, quote, enjoy an enhanced shopping experience. Well, of course, when you create an online account, you do need to provide them with some type of identifiable information so you can log in the future. Specifically, we're going to look at the email address. Well, down here it says, yes, please send me Target exclusive offers and promotions. If I were to leave that checked, Target is promising me that they're going to send me some junk. Probably only occasional and probably harmless. Also, they have a privacy policy. Now, any reputable online company that you would provide personal information to is going to have a privacy policy. A privacy policy lays out specifically how they're going to use the personal information they collect from you today. What was not surprising is that Target.com discloses that they will use my personal information to provide to third-party partners. Well, that again is probably harmless marketing tactics. But the point I'm trying to make, or the issue with this is you can realize it doesn't take long when Target.com would send my information to 1, 2, 3, 4 parties. Quickly, my email address would be passed throughout the internet, and I had little control over where it went. So what I often tell our customers is that when you're creating online accounts, use a junk email account that you don't care that much about. So you could go to Gmail or Hotmail and create an email address specifically for these types of situations. That way you can keep your personal email address closer to you for use with friends and family and other important business matters. Another way to protect your email address is to routinely change your account passwords. Security experts recommend changing your password every 90 days. Now, I realize that's probably not realistic for most of us, so find a routine that works for you and at least occasionally update your account passwords. If nothing else, be sure to create strong passwords that are at least 8 characters in length, include numbers and letters, both uppercase and lowercase, and do not use readily available words or phrases that can be found in the dictionary. It's also not a bad idea to create an email address that's both unique and creative. If I were to create an email address today, I would probably not want to create an email that contains my name or portions of my password. Let's take a look at a quick example. So in this case, instead of Mike Leeds at emailprovider.com, I may want to try something like HuxcomGuyMike14 at emailprovider.com instead. This just makes it more difficult for your email address to be automatically spoofed or guessed by a third party. Also, be sure to never write down your password or share it with anyone else. A common rule of thumb is to treat your email account just like you would your social security number or bank account information. And in a lot of ways, your email account is just as important as those other types of sensitive information. Lastly, make sure your computer is protected by the latest version of your antivirus software. And occasionally run scans to make sure your device is running clean and operating safely. And please remember, the most important way to protect yourself from email spoofing and spamming is to never respond to unsolicited attempts to obtain your personal information. Any reputable company, including Huxley Communications, will never ask you for that type of information over email. Now, there are other ways to protect your email address from being used incorrectly for email spoofing and spamming that I did not cover today. but there is no way to guarantee 100% that your email account will never fall into the wrong hands. But you can take some precautions to make it more difficult for criminals to use your personal information, including your email address, for all the wrong reasons. So thanks for watching today. And if you would like more information or additional assistance, you can reach a Huxley Communications office at 597-2281 or our 24/7 technical support line at 597-HELP, or you can reach me directly at HuxComTVGuy@huxcom.net. Have a great day.